It's looking like Lopetegui will not be sacked by West Ham United just yet, at least, and he will be given the game on Monday as we take on Wolves at the London Stadium. Now, there's three sources with this news, and I just want to remind people, this is not my news. I'm not saying that this is what I want, because I imagine this is not going to go down too well with the Hammers Chat subscribers, and I include myself in that one. Actually, I felt it was inevitable he would get sacked, but let's go through the updates and then we'll do the opinions. The Daily Mail was the first one with this. They were saying that he was going to get the game on Monday and he wasn't going to be sacked just yet. Ex-West Ham employee over on the West Ham Way has stated it looks likely Lopetegui will be in charge on Monday night, and that West Ham had spoken to other potential head coaches and replacements for Loptegui, but some of them aren't keen on a short-term contract. But West Ham will continue looking for and speaking to alternative replacements for Lopetegui, so if he fails to turn it around and they do decide to sack him, they will have someone lined up. Reading between the lines on ex-West Ham employees' post, if he loses against Wolves, he will get sacked. And it's just a case of they not being able to find a replacement, so they're going to stick with what they've got. That's me guessing by what ex-West Ham employees said. But Sky Sports News went one further and said that Lopetegui was given three things he had to do when he took charge at West Ham United. Number one, he had to integrate 9 new signings into the first team. Number two, he had to change the style of football and start creating more chances in games compared to previous. And number three, win games on a more consistent basis. And Sky Sports stated that Lopetegui believes he's achieving 2 of those and work on the third one, with the change of style leading to more consistent winning games more consistently, is currently a work in progress. However, Lopetegui wants to stay at West Ham and he's convinced he can turn it around. That's the news. Now, I have to say I'm very disappointed. I was on a car journey this morning, more to come on that in just a second. It was a car journey, it was quite a long one, so I had a lot of time to think, and when I was on my way back home, all this Lopetegui stuff was coming out today, and it's hard to work out what's believable and what not. But one thing I did feel was that sacking him was inevitable. I thought the club have handled this badly and that there was no way back for Lopetegui, because there was all this talk of a press conference, but they don't announce. Nobody announces sacking a manager with a press conference, so that meant nothing to me. A press conference would be called to announce the new guy, and I felt strongly that they would only sack Lopetegui if they had a replacement lined up, and I still believe that. I just think they failed to get a replacement. I think they've spent the last 24 hours speaking to various people, trying to get someone in place that they can all agree on, which is incredibly difficult anyway. And then if they could do that, then they would sack Lopetegui. And it feels like they failed to get a replacement in because of what X said, which is some managers weren't keen on a short-term contract. That's Graham Potter. We all know it's Graham Potter. It came out last night that he was sort of the firm favourite, and it's snowballed into today, and it's continued going that Potter was the guy that we're looking at to replace Lopetegui. But the reason we won't give Potter a longer contract in the end of this season is because David Sullivan don't like him. Now, this didn't make sense at the time because Sullivan in the past hasn't been keen on Graham Potter, because Sullivan is convinced the reason he was deemed successful at Brighton was because of the infrastructure of the club, because of the scouting, because of the player development, because of the academy, that Potter was simply the last piece of the jigsaw rather than the biggest piece of the jigsaw. Now, I don't necessarily disagree with David Sullivan's evaluation on that situation or Graham Potter. But what just did not make sense was if we gave Potter a contract till the end of the season, so we give him a 6-month contract, that theory now doesn't matter. It doesn't count. It doesn't make sense. What? So if Potter's on a 6-month contract, suddenly he's now a good coach and a good manager. David Sullivan's concerns over his credentials, now none of that doesn't matter if he's on a short. Of course it still matters. If anything, it's even more important that you get the right coach and manager in, because they're not going to have a major summer transfer window to bring players in to suit them. They have to work with what they've got at West Ham. There might be a little bit of wiggle room in January, but there won't be too much, and it might depend on offloading players first of all. So whoever comes in has got to work what we got. And if Sullivan doesn't think Potter's a good manager, it just didn't make sense. Anyway, back to the Lopetegui thing. So it looks like he's getting Monday night. And the reason he's getting Monday night, and let's not pretend otherwise, it's because the club have failed to bring in a replacement. They've already decided he's not good enough. The club cannot have confidence in him turning around, because if they did, all this stuff in the last 24, 36 hours wouldn't have happened. When people have been messaging the club and getting the responses as they usually do, in the past, in the previous few weeks, like after Nottingham Forest, for example, it was, oh no, we think he'll turn it around. Oh, results need to improve, but that's our man. That was the messaging coming out the club. In the last 48 hours, it's, oh, we'll soon decide. We're going to have a meeting and then we'll decide. Even today, the line coming out of the club at 12 o'clock today was, we haven't made a decision yet. No, that's our guy. The guy was taking training and David Sullivan was emailing people saying we've not made a decision. He was literally on the training pitch. Now, I didn't see the big deal. I've seen it come out. Lopetegui's taking training. Man goes to work. That's all I read. Head coach turns up to coach players. But while he was doing that, they were trying to get someone else. I've got no doubt about it whatsoever. His position is untenable. He cannot continue. How are the players meant to listen to this guy in training today and tomorrow when they know that they don't want him? The club don't want him here. The minute you start having meetings to decide if you keep him or sack him, you've already decided he's not really good enough, haven't you? You've already admitted we probably need to replace him. We've gone one further than that. We haven't just had a meeting to discuss sacking him. We've been approaching other people to take his job while he's still here. We've said, this guy's crap. Do you want it? No. Oh, okay. Do you want it? No. Anyone want it? No. Oh, keep you then. And it's just not good enough by us as a football club. I've gone through a whole different range of emotions today. Whilst I was travelling back, now I'm going to do it. I went to meet Jimmy Walker. I've gone to meet him. We are selling copies of his book signed by Jimmy Walker himself. The book only came out a couple of weeks ago, so it is new. You haven't read it before, unless you bought it in the last couple of weeks. He signed every single one. That's my one. You won't get this one. This is my personal copy. If you want it and you order it in the next couple of weeks, it will definitely be with you by Christmas. Go to hammerschatstore.com and you can get a signed copy of Jimmy Walker's book. All the money is going to his charity. He's doing really good work with his foundation. Every bit of profit is going into the Jimmy Walker Foundation, so it's for a good cause. And while you're there, we've got our new Hammers Chat hats in collaboration with Oddballs, and we've still got some Christmas jumpers. They're selling really well, so thank you to everyone that's got one. And if you buy one, get you a free packet of beer mats, the Conference League winners one. hammerschatstore.com. Right, back to my rant. I need to promote the book though, because I've got quite a few to sell. But anyway, back to my mini rant. On the way back from the car, I was convinced Lopetegui was going to be going today, tomorrow, and this press conference stuff, don't even start me with that. That's a load of, I've seen the rumours as a press conference. It doesn't mean anything. You don't call a press conference to sack a manager. You shouldn't be calling a press conference to sack a manager either. Do it in the correct way. We don't do many things correctly at West Ham sometimes, but at least do it in the best manner. You know, Julian Dix found out he got sacked because it was on Sky Sports. Someone rang him up and said, I think it was his daughter rang him to check he was okay, and he didn't even know what she was on about. But he turned on Sky Sports and it was there that Slaven Bilic and the rest of them have all been sacked. That's how he found out he got sacked by West Ham. Let's not have those situations again. But because of the way the club have handled this in the last couple of days, he knows. Lopetegui knows we don't want him anymore. He's not going to walk out because, it's worth millions to him. He's not going to walk away. He walked away from his previous job. He ain't walking away from this one as well. There's way too much money. And you know something? He probably does believe that he can turn this round. He probably does believe things are getting better and he can make things better. He's backing himself. And fair play to him from that aspect. But it can't be a good feeling for him when he turns up to the training ground today and there's Sky Sports cameras there and wait, this geezer, we get to sack him there, we get to sack. He'll know about it. His staff will be saying, boss, have we got a job or what? He's got to answer that. How is he meant to continue? He's been struggling to have respect from certain members in the changing room anyway. Kudus, Todibo, we can't even cover it. I'll maybe do Todibo tomorrow or put it on Patreon or something. But that's a big story itself. But how's he meant to continue with Todibo? He can't. How's Todibo meant to continue with Loptegui? He can't. They're going to have to do a lot of kissing and making up. I can't see that happening. So that's another situation. The minute we decide to keep Lopetegui is the minute we decide that situation continues at West Ham. It's cheaper. It's cheaper to sack your manager than it is to get rid of a player. Speaking of that Todibo situation, by the way, long story short, Lopetegui told him, you will never play for West Ham again. And he's been training with the kids, right? If we avoid relegation, we've got to pay 40 million for him. We can't afford for this. We can't afford for Todibo not to be playing for West Ham United. He's not even our player to sell in January. Lopetegui had to go. He had to go after the Leicester game. Between Leicester and now, the situation's got worse as far as we've not even played a game. But I think this situation has got worse. The club, there was no clarity or decisiveness from West Ham between the full-time whistle up until now. Even when they were replying to people, they left it. It's almost like they enjoy the rumours and stuff. And now, by the looks of it, they've decided he can have the Wolves game. But they're going to continue to speak to other managers. What is the point? What's the point in that? At what point do you stop speaking to other managers? If we beat Wolves, then what? Do you stop or do you continue in case we get beat by Bournemouth? Oh, no, we'll keep... Okay, then what? Bournemouth, we beat Bournemouth. Do you stop now or do you continue? It's bollocks. It's a load of bollocks. We've got to the point now where he has to go. Forget the results, just the way the club have acted with him and the way the club are acting. He has to go because of that. We're speaking to other managers now, and very publicly too, and it might help because people might want West Ham job. I'm going to contact West Ham. I fancy a bit of that. Just have a bit of... Just do the right thing and sack him. Just give him the money, sack him, and go get someone else that can hopefully improve things and do those three things that you were hoping Lopetegui would do. Because you've already... Part of the frustration in the last month or so has been, can Sullivan just admit he's made a mistake? I feel like he's done that. He's admitted he's made a mistake. You don't have these meetings and approach other managers if you still think Lopetegui's the right man. You don't do these things. So he's already done the part, which is, probably shouldn't have hired this guy. I've made a bit of an error here. But he's now not doing, he's pussying out of the actual decision, which is I need to sack you. He knows he needs to sack him, but he won't do it until the next guy's lined up. He's absolutely bottling it. Sullivan is bottling this, and he's now basically praying for a miracle that we beat Wolves on Monday night. It's like he's watched, I'm convinced what he's done is he spoke, I am genuinely convinced this is what Sullivan's done in the last 24 hours. Spoke to other managers, listened to people round about him. They can't all agree on someone. Tim Steidten is wanting foreign managers with accents above the letters in their surname. Sullivan's wanting someone with Premier League experience. Mark Noble's picking someone. They're all just telling him these names. No one is picking the same guy, which isn't helping him. We've probably approached Graham Potter, even though Sullivan thinks he's shit. He's gone, don't want a short-term contract, understandably so. And then in the evening last night, he sat there in his massive mansion and watched Everton dick Wolves 4-0 and thought, if they can do it, even we can do it, right? This lot are not very good. We can do that. We're going to beat Wolves. I've almost convinced myself if Wolves won last night, Lopetegui gets a sack today. But because they've just been pumped by Everton, if Everton can stick four past them, the only team that's conceding more goals than us in the league, you thought, you know what? Surely even Lopetegui can win this game on Monday night. No, not the case. Anyway, apologies for ranting. This is hot off the press. It's literally just came out and I've hit record. Watching it, unfortunate timing. You can decide what you like, because I was already talking about something else and all this stuff come out. But Sullivan, man, what are you doing? I can usually, sometimes, right, I don't agree with things he does, but I can get where he's coming from, or try my best to understand what he's doing. And most of the time I can manage it. Like I said, I don't agree with it. It's not what I want, but I can see what he's doing. But on this one, it just doesn't make sense. To summarise, he's admitted he's made a mistake, hence approaching other managers. He's approached other managers. He's going to continue to speak to other managers. But he won't sack this guy. Make it make sense. Anyway, I'm going to disappear. If you want a signed book by Jimmy Walker, hammerstatstore.com. I'm sure there'll be an update later tonight or tomorrow morning or something. I'm supposed to be doing the Wolves preview with Gonzo tomorrow, as well as the video with the Wolves fan tomorrow. That'll be fun. He doesn't know if Gary O'Neill's staying or going. Apparently, Wolves' main target's Graham Potter. So, if we have decided we don't want him, or we might take him, we're not sure yet, you better be quick, because if somehow Lopetegui wins on Monday and O'Neill gets a Saturday, they're going to have Potter. So that guy that we were deliberating about, or we've been speaking to, is potentially going to be gone this time next week. Now, I'm not saying I want Graham Potter, by the way. I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about the situation. What a mess. What an absolute mess this is. We've let the world know we want to sack him, but we've not actually sacked him. Brilliant. Absolutely marvellous. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, please drop a like, comment by clicking the thumbs up. Subscribe to Hammers Chat. HammersChatStore.com. Get your hats, jumpers, signed Jimmy Walker books. Catch you tomorrow.